What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, once again, we're going to be doing some super easy, high-end, amazing Dollar Tree DIYs. And when I say Dollar Tree, I say partially Dollar Tree. You guys already know that I love using other stuff. I don't like to be just stuck with Dollar Tree items because you know what? Sometimes you guys may not be able to find the stuff that I use to recreate the DIYs. And then also, just want to let you guys know that this video is sponsored by Cricut, and they did send me a Cricut maker and an Easy Press too, which I will show you guys more on that in a little bit. I actually almost did not show face today because I had a super bad reaction to a new face wash I tried. The swelling on my eyelids and my eyes is already down, but you will notice some puffiness and some redness. My face feels like it's on fire right now, and it's so dry. I feel like a turtle, like I have snake skin or turtle skin or whatever on my face right now. So it's okay, the show must go on, but in case you guys notice something funky happening with my face right now, that's it. If this is your first time here, you guys, welcome, and thanks so much for joining me. I would love it, like always, if you guys stuck around and became part of the DIY family, and I would love it if you guys hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you're notified every time I upload a video, because I feel like I'm gonna have some pretty good projects this year. Starting the year on a good note, just trying to come up with a lot of different stuff. So hope you guys stay tuned. Let's get on to the DIY. All right, guys, so for this next DIY, I made a sign using some drop cloth canvas, some spare wood that I had, and then the Cricut maker. And I did use the iron-on option for this. What I'm excited about for this Cricut maker is that you can make so many different things. It can cut up to 300 materials, just paper, crepe paper, fabric. You can cut vinyl, you can cut the iron-on, and then also like really thin pieces of wood, which I'm actually super excited about. There's also different tools that you can use to draw, cut, engrave, perforate, so many different options. I swear, like there's just so many things coming into my mind of what I want to do. To make the designs, I will be using the Design Space Studio that you can access through your phone or your laptop. For me, it's just a lot easier to do it on my laptop just because I feel like I have more control over it. You're having a little bit of a meltdown here, so I'm gonna make this a little bit quicker. So everything that I'm using, the Cricut maker, the Easy Press, some of the supplies will be linked down below, and then a lot of new tools that I'm using today. Well, not a lot, but you know. So instead of you guys watching me talk about it, I'm gonna show you guys how I used it to make my very cute DIY sign. So here's a quick glimpse at the maker, and again, it's probably one of the most versatile machines that Cricut has. It is compatible with over 300 materials, and you can use over 12 tools with it. I think it's super cool that it has this little compartment here where you can keep some of your tools, and I will be keeping it in my garage, so I did actually buy a tote that I'm going to put it in, and it's actually perfect to carry with you if you do have to travel. And then this is the Easy Press 2, which comes with the little stand that you can put it on so you don't burn yourself, and it's also a lot better than using a regular iron. To set up your machine is super easy. All you have to do is just plug the cords to the back, plug it to the outlet, and you guys can see that USB going into my laptop. Sorry I didn't actually show you guys connecting it, but it's super easy to figure out. This part is where you attach your tools, and you guys can see it's no hassle. You can open it and close it pretty quickly. The left side is for your markers and pens, and then the right side is for the tools like cutting and scoring that you want to use for your projects. For this project, I am going to be using my everyday iron-on paper, and I kind of had a little bit of trouble putting it on there because it is like sticky, like the mat is sticky. Anyway, this paper does have a glossy side, which will be the one that faces down on the standard grip mat. And I'm going to be using like the square foot piece of it because that's how big I want my sign to be. So once that's all down, I am going to go into my design space, and you guys can make all sorts of different projects on here. You can search around, and you know, there's so many options to choose from. But I'm going to go ahead and start a new project. And once that opens up, you can see on the left-hand side, there's different templates or projects that you can go off of, but I'm just going to add some text. So at the top, I'm just going to search my font. I actually ended up using a different font than the one that I'm going to show you guys. The one I use is called Watercolor Brush Script or something like that. But you guys can see at the top, there's all sorts of different options for you to change your
your print, your font, your alignment of the lettering. So you can make it bigger, smaller, you can change the letter spacing, the line spacing. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to align it to the right because that's the look that I'm going for on my sign. And once that's all adjusted, I am going to be going to the top right corner to make my project. You just have to make sure that you're connected to your maker, whether it's through USB or Bluetooth. And then one thing I almost forgot was to mirror my image. So on here, I'm going to choose the iron-on, everyday iron-on option. And I went back in there to edit, to mirror my image so that it comes out correctly when I put it down on my fabric. And once I do that, it does prompt you to insert it or to feed it through your maker. And you see the little double arrow button. You're just going to push it when you see it flashing, and then it's going to feed your mat through. Then you'll just press the blinking C and it's going to feed or start your project. You just have to make sure there's enough space between your machine and the back wall or wherever it is that you placed it, because obviously you saw there it did kind of hit the back when it fed the paper through, or the mat. Yeah, once that's done, it's going to show on the design space, you know, that it's processing and cutting, and you're just going to have to wait for it to get to 100%. But look at that machine go. And it really doesn't take very long. So once that's done, that double arrow button is going to blink again. So just press that so you can take out the mat. Now I'm just taking my weeding tool and weeding the iron-on off of the mat. And it's really not that hard, but sometimes on like the smaller letters, you just have to have a little patience for it. But yeah, overall, this didn't take me very long. Now it's time to preheat my Easy Press 2, and I'm going to go ahead and just hit that little temperature button, bring it up to 340 degrees, and just let it preheat. To figure out what type of setting you need to use, you can go to the Cricut website and you can choose whatever machine you have. Right there you can use the heat transfer material and then the base material, which would be the cotton canvas that I'm using, and then you just hit apply. Oh yeah, you're going to be using the Cricut Easy Mat, or I am going to be using the Cricut Easy Mat, and you just apply it and it gives you the directions and what you need to do for that specific material. So you guys see that's done. This is the mat that I'm talking about. Instead of using a regular towel, I actually really like that I have that mat. So I'm going to take my fabric, and it is a little dirty, a little bit stained because I had it as a runner on my dining table for a while. So that's why. Yeah, so now I'm just going to take the Easy Press and kind of go over it for about 5 seconds just to take any wrinkles out and have it nice and warm. And once that's done, I'm going to take my decal off of the mat just carefully. I feel like this is my first time using it, so it wasn't too difficult. Now I'm just going to align it to the spot that I wanted to. You guys can't see it, but I used my pencil to draw a line where I wanted this to lay exactly. And then once that's done, I am going to be taking my Easy Press, and I have a timer on here for 30 seconds. And you just press it down on your material. And because part of the letters were sticking out where the iron wasn't exactly on top of it, I did move it around a little bit. But for the most part, it works better if you just kind of let it be. So 30 seconds on there. Once that's done, go ahead and turn it over, and then you're going to go over it for another 15 to 30 seconds. I did 30 seconds just to make sure that I was going to be on there nice and firm. I keep saying like nice and firm, nice and tightly. And as you guys can see here, now you can just peel off that piece of plastic and your lettering is all done. Now I have a bunch of this paneling left over from a different project. So I'm going to be using this piece and then also some leftover dowels. These dowels run like $1 a piece, and I think they're like 3 feet long or something. But anyways, these were just extras. I do have one to the size that I wanted already, and I finally got my little mini saw from Harbor Freight, and it wasn't very expensive. I think I will go ahead and link that below also. I actually knew about this saw, but it took forever for them to have it in stock. And I don't know why I didn't buy it online. Anyway, safety first. I'm just going to go ahead and set it up, put in my dowel, and just cut away. And honestly, I didn't really need glasses for that because, come on now. But safety first, guys.
A lot has changed since we last spoke. Lost
All right, so not too much explaining on the staining part. You guys already know how to do that. I am using that special walnut, and then if you guys can see that black I'm using, it's just a chalkboard paint, and just to give it, you know, a more rustic feel. And I will be using that same process on a different DIY later on.
To you and I see that you're with someone new. Maybe you are better off now that you're with him. But when I see your face,
Sneaky hands, sneaky hands. All right, so I'm going to be using my Power Shot brad nailer, stapler, and I'm going to take out the brad nails that I had on there, and I'm going to be using my long staples. It's super easy to switch out. So the long staples I'm going to use I'm going to put through the back. That way it doesn't show the staple on the front of the thing. So just carefully, I just carefully turned it over with the fabric so it wouldn't move around on me and lose its alignment with the lettering. And you guys can see that the staples didn't go all the way through, but it's okay. I just took a hammer and just nailed them all the way down.
myself from spiraling. Now I'm falling, I'm falling, I'm falling, I'm falling down. 'Cause I can focus when you are around. But I will try my best to carry on without you like you've done. Though I'm lost and out of breath, I will carry on without you like you've done. But I'm not over you. I'm not over you. I'm not over you. Yeah, my heart belongs to you. I'm not over you. Trying to see it your way, to figure out why you left. I know that I have done some things I do regret, and I don't blame you for leaving. I might have done the same, but it doesn't make it easier anyway. Now I'm falling, I'm falling, I'm falling, I'm falling down. 'Cause I can get myself to focus when you are around. But I will try my best to carry on without you like you've done. Though I'm lost and out of breath, I will carry on without you like you've done. But I'm not over you. I'm not over you. I'm not over you.
It's going to be a recreated version of this one that I saw on Pinterest, and I love the way mine came out considering what I used. So you guys already know I'm all about the Jenga blocks. I'm all about those Dollar Tree wooden blocks that make any type of frame for your needs. So I'm going to start out with those, and I am going to be gluing 4 blocks for 1 strand times 4. So it's going to make a square. So if you guys got that, glue 4 of them together, then another 4, then another 4, then another 4. So it's going to give you the pieces that you need to create a diamond or a square, I guess. Now I'm going to be using my Power Shot, and this thing uses brad nails, short staples, long staples. For this one, I am going to be using my short staples, and typically I just leave the Jenga blocks how they are, just with the glue, but I feel like I just want to make my stuff to last longer, and I feel like using the Jenga blocks, or I'm sorry, the staples will do that. So make sure that you do use glue with this either way, because the staples won't hold them together unless you put staples on both sides. Now to hold the ends together, I am going to be using some staples. Now I had a different plan in mind for those little corners that don't have anything, but it didn't pan out, so I actually had to improvise as I went along. Alright, so once that first frame is done, we're going to start with the second one, which is the one that goes on top. Now, again, using some more of those wooden blocks and then also those wooden planks from Dollar Tree. Those come in a pack of 6, depending on how many frames you're going to make. I was planning on making 4, but it honestly, it did take me a little while because I was like thinking it up as I went. So I only ended up making the one. So for that one, I just used the two pieces of wood. And you guys can see there, I glued 5 pieces of the wooden blocks for the top and the bottom, and then 2 on the sides. And again, go in there with the staples, and that's gonna be the frame for the 2 wooden planks. What am I calling? They're planks, right? Or is it planks? Planks? Those 2 pieces of wood. So I just glued those together, and I'm gonna attach them to the top. I did glue them on there, but again, I'm gonna be using the staples to attach them to the wooden blocks also. Okay, so I did glue both those frames together, and now I'm switching out my staples for my brad nails, and I'm just going to turn it around and put my nail right in there. Sometimes they don't go all the way through, but you can just hammer them in.
But I will try my best to carry on without you like you've done.
So I searched all over the place and I could not find my wood filler. I know I saw it somewhere, I can't find it. So I'm going to be using Dollar Tree caulk and then also a putty knife just to make sure that it gets right into the creases, because I want this to look like a solid piece. I don't want it to look like they're pieces of Jenga blocks glued together. Once it's dry, I did go ahead and take a sand, just like a little sand sheet, and sanded it down, and then I went ahead and beat the heck out of this thing. So I just took like some pliers and I just started hitting it and then like scraping it just to give the wood some texture. You guys can take free reign on whatever stain or paint you want to use. So I started out with this walnut, special walnut stain, and it is linked down in the description. So I found it easier to just go in there with my foam brush, and I just stained it. You guys can see the caulk. You're not going to be able to completely cover it. Obviously, it's going to stand out. So after that, I did take a little bit of the black chalkboard paint, mixed it in with the stain, and just to give it like a darker color. And that's kind of helping to cover up or just make it look a little more antique-y and rustic. So I told you guys I had a completely different plan for this, but it didn't work out. I was actually going to put wooden beads in between, but it did not look good, and I was having a really hard time having them stay with hot glue, E6000 glue, crazy glue. It just didn't work out. So I'm using some popsicle sticks and then just cutting off the corners to give it another sort of dimension for it, but then also obviously covering up the part that doesn't have a block. I did use the hot glue to glue them down, but I also ended up using a staple just so that they're on there nice and tightly and firm and solid. Although I love the way the stain looks, I don't love that you can still see where I try to patch it up. So I am going to be going in there with a couple different paints. This one is a sample paint from either Lowe's or Home Depot, and this is in Galaxy Gray. I sanded it off a little bit, and then I went in there with white acrylic paint and then just sanded. So like I said, you guys can, do whatever method that you guys like. I just was playing around with this to see how it looked better, and I liked how it ended up. Again, although I did really like the way the stain looked by itself. Alright, so then I printed out a picture just on regular paper, and it's of my kids, This one is it has like a little bit of a yellow tone to it, which I didn't love. I actually reprinted it in solid black and white and did this whole method all over. I'm just going to use some white glue from Dollar Tree. I don't have Mod Podge. I don't know why, but this works just as fine. So just put the glue on the back and then stick it right onto the wood, and then just brush some more of that glue on the edges to stick it down. And like I said, I didn't like how the yellow tone looked to it, so I just peeled it off with my putty knife and then added a black and white one. How many candle holders will I make this year? I don't know yet, but here's one of them. So all Dollar Tree material, nope, not all Dollar Tree materials. So just the glass pieces are from Dollar Tree, and you guys can see that little plate at the bottom is a terracotta plate from Walmart. And you guys saw me spraying the tag over there. So I basically just spray the tags with some cleaner and let it sit, and it comes off super easily. And I'm just gonna glue all of these together, and I will be using the Dollar Tree caulk to fill in all the gaps, and then just using some Walmart paint to paint over it. Just so you guys know, once the first layer dried, I did go in there with a second layer to make sure it was like filled all the way through. And then after that was dry, I did take a little bit of sandpaper and just sanded it down. I made this really cute pillow using these Dollar Tree mats, and one thing I can tell you about these is that they have so much fuzz. It's ridiculous, and they smell pretty bad. So by the way, I did actually wash and dry these, and I would highly recommend you guys doing the same thing. You guys can see one of them has a design, and the other one is just like the fuzzy part, and then like a more canvasy part on the other side. And I'm gonna do this side, like the more flat side, to the back, and then the design to the front. Now I'm going to take some of this Dollar Tree nautical rope to make my tassels, and before I tie it how I'm going to tie it right now, make sure that if you try this, to tie the string like at the top. You guys know how you make tassels and you put the string at the top to where you hang it from? You guys will kind of see what I mean. And I know there's some like beads rolling around throughout the video, and I was planning to use beads in this video, but it ended up not working out. So anyway, I just went ahead and tied that together and just cut it to size. Also, I've been at it for a really, really long time today. I think I've been working since, I don't know, for like 8 hours on this video. So I'm I'm to that point where I'm forgetting words. You know what I'm saying? All right, so you guys can see here, I'm going to go ahead and put the outside in. So I'm going to flip them because, you know, when you make a pillowcase, you want to make sure that you do it like the opposite way. You guys know what I mean. Come on, if you don't know what I mean, please let me know in the description down below. Not in the description, in the comments. So right here, I'm going to put the tassels pointing inward, okay? And then the extra string is going to go outside. So I'm just going to hand sew that just so that it stays still. Once the 4 tassels are glued, or not glued, but sewed in the corner, I'm going to put the top of my pillowcase. And you guys can see that print part is going to go outside, but not yet, not until we flip it. I did start sewing this by hand so that you guys can see you don't need a fancy sewing machine or anything like that. But it is going to take you a little bit of time to hand sew it. So I don't have the time. I'm going to go ahead and bust out my sewing machine because I actually really like my sewing machine. BT dubs, only 8 hours on today for this video and editing and stuff, because I've been at it for the whole week actually making these DIYs. You guys, this buffalo snow I bought at Goodwill a while ago. I think the whole bag was like $5 or something like that, which is not bad for what it is.
We got time on our side. We're in a state of hope. I need you on my fire. I want you to know that every time you're away, I long for you so much I can find my way. We got everything here, at least to stay alive, and the time that we share makes it all worthwhile. Got this place on our own. Do you feel that we got something strong? And I saw you walking the line, and the truth may come as a surprise. That with you I feel alive. You'll be the last one I think about.
So my final DIY and my final recreation, I saw this Hobby Lobby wreath and I actually just realized that it says lamb's ear. I actually only used a eucalyptus garlands from Dollar Tree. I did have this foam wreath form from Dollar Tree, which was broken already, so I didn't really care to break it even more. And you guys can see I'm using like a putty knife or whatever. What is this? This is not a putty knife. It's called something else. I just don't remember what it is. So I'm just going to go ahead and use that to cut through the foam.
We got time on our side. We're in a state of hope. I need you.
And then using a Dollar Tree rope. I think this was my very last piece of rope that I had, so I did take it apart to get more strands out of it. And what I'm going to do is just poke a hole through the center of that wreath and just add some hot glue and stick my rope right through there. I want this to be as sturdy as possible. And then after that, I'm just going to make like the knot or the loop, and I'm going to repeat the same thing on the other end. So I did go ahead and start wrapping this with a rope, and I realized that I was not going to have enough. So 2 of the nautical ropes from Dollar Tree should be enough. Luckily, I did have some twine that kind of matched it. That was from Walmart.
I want you to know that every time you're away, I long for you so much I can find my way. And I saw you walking the line, and the truth may come as a surprise, that with you I feel alive. You will be the last one I think about. When it all breaks down, I'll wait for you right here. And I swear that we got nothing to fear. It's a miracle that you and I are finally here. I saw you walking the line, and the truth may come as a surprise, that with you I feel alive. You will be the last one to think about.
I saw these garlands at Dollar Tree and I actually couldn't believe it. I hadn't seen these ever before, and I just grabbed 3 of them. I should have grabbed more because I know they're going to be gone by the time spring comes around, but it's okay. I won't be greedy. So you guys can see I'm just going to start attaching it to the top of the wreath, and I'm just going to attach it with some twine just so that it kind of blends in.
I know it's nothing new, but it's so good to see you. We do this every day, and I'm still so amazed by you. So hold me tight through the night. It's just us two, me and you. Oh, oh, I can't believe you love me. Oh, oh, I just feel so lucky. Oh, still can't believe you love me. I hope it never ends, this being more than friends. Yeah. You know I'm here to stay every single day. Yeah. So hold me tight through the night. It's just us two, me and you. Oh, I can't believe you love me.
Alright you guys, so that's going to be it for today's video. If you notice the difference in how chill and relaxed I was last video, and then today I'm more rushed because, you know, my beautiful little baby girl right here. Guys, if you did enjoy this video, I would love it if you guys gave me a thumbs up. Leave me any of your questions or comments that you have down below, and don't forget to subscribe. See you on the next one. Bye. You want to say bye? No? Oh, she doesn't want to say bye. All right, bye guys.
Just feel so lucky.